I realized that I was failing as a mother and wife, so I started working relentlessly to mend my relationship with my husband and my kids. I always saw myself as a super mom and my husband as a man-child, but life proved me wrong. I got used to coming home from work to find my husband making food for our kids or helping them with their homework while I would head to the gym or for a run. Over time, I stopped seeing his contributions around the house as valid. Then, when my husband got the virus and I had to take over caring for the kids, I noticed how out of touch I was with them. I couldn't cook for them because I didn't know how to. I couldn't help with their homework or entertain them. My husband did all of these flawlessly. He pretended to be movie characters with them, kept them occupied with board games and puzzles, took them on trips, and taught them how to play Minecraft. He even taught our 11-year-old how to cook eggs, and she can do it better than I can. I wasn't even working while taking care of the kids, and seeing firsthand how much work my husband did daily while working full-time blew my mind. The affair I thought of starting because I saw my husband as unworthy of me left my mind right away. When my husband stopped quarantining from us, I really began paying attention to how much work he did with the kids. I noticed everything from the fact he cooked every meal for all of us to the fact he drove them everywhere and barely slept sometimes just to prepare lunch for school and work the next day. He tucked them in at night, read them bedtime stories, woke them up in the morning, got them ready for school, and dropped them off before heading to work. He is also the one who picks them up. I, on the other hand, would wake up leisurely, eat the breakfast he made for me, and then leave for work. On weekends, I had girls' night on Saturdays and brunch on Sundays religiously, and he sometimes met his friends on Fridays but often stayed in because I made him feel neglected. The more I observed him, the more I realized he was the dream dad and husband. He is constantly playing and hanging out with the kids, showing them lots of love. He gets 1 hour a day to himself, which he uses to play video games. I used to nag him about this hour, but now I see it's the only time he gets to relax fully. I also notice that when I'm watching my TV shows, he's still playing with the kids, sometimes Minecraft, where they've made huge structures, or with action figures and dolls. He's so engrossed that it's like he's one of the kids, all while sitting on the ground next to me. He constantly rubs my calf or lays his head against my knees as I sit on the couch, too focused on reality TV to notice. No wonder he's always exhausted by the end of the day. I did a lot of reflection and realized I needed to start pulling my weight around the house, or else my husband might divorce me. Last weekend, I stayed home rather than go out and saw them play a homemade snakes and ladders game on Saturday night. On Sunday, after breakfast, they brought out a huge box of junk to make their own command center for their spaceship and role-played for the next 2 hours. I never knew they made these things and felt so left out and awkward because I wanted to get involved like my husband but didn't see any place for myself. I don't think they'll ever be as engaged with me as they are with him. I can only wonder how he's coping with all of this silently. So a few days went by, and I was scared of how to begin, but I saw an opening with my kids and jumped on it. During my lunch break, I walked in on them making paper airplanes by watching a video online and decided to join in. As I helped them, I could sense their confusion since I only ever talked about school. They had guilty expressions, probably expecting me to scold them for making noise. This broke my heart because I always thought I would be the fun parent, but I clearly wasn't. We spent the afternoon making and racing paper planes, which gave me the idea of doing origami with them. I used to love origami in college, so I ordered a stack of origami paper. When I returned to work, everything was still the same with my husband coming home, playing games, making dinner, and me going for a run after dinner. I was still unsure how to approach my husband, and we continued our routine. At bedtime, I told my husband to relax and I would tuck the kids in. My daughter was very happy, but my son insisted only his father could tuck him in, so we took 1 kid each. This hurt my feelings, but I shouldn't expect them to take me back immediately after being emotionally absent for so long. While tucking her in, my daughter asked if we could make paper airplanes again tomorrow, and I enthusiastically agreed. I stayed until she fell asleep. When I came out, my husband was already in bed on his phone, looking exhausted. We didn't talk much, and I just got changed and climbed in. Usually I'd be finishing my shows, but I came in early and expected a reaction from him, but he didn't say anything. I wanted to bring everything up but chickened out and went to sleep. For the next 5 days, I did origami with the kids during lunch and tucked my daughter in at night, although I tried to tuck both kids in. I also started waking up early for breakfast, cutting down on my gym and running time to sit with the kids while they did their homework. I tried helping my husband with cooking, but he pushed me out because he has his own system and doesn't want it disturbed. I began returning his affections by playing lightly with his hair while he rubbed my calf or laid his head against my knee. He was startled at first but started smiling over time. Our nights didn't change much as we both sat in bed on our phones, with him looking exhausted. Update: I was happy with my progress and saw it as a big first step, but then something happened. My husband came to me after work looking miserable. He'd been given so much work that he couldn't spend time with us for the foreseeable future and asked for my help with the kids. It felt like he was begging a stranger for assistance. This hurt, but I saw it as another opportunity to be the partner and mother they deserve. I made sure to tell him he didn't need to ask like that, and that they were my kids too, and he was my husband, so I'd do whatever I could to help. The pure relief and delight on his face will forever be imprinted in my memory. For the next few weeks, I became the primary caretaker of the kids. He still helped with homework, but I tried taking it over and it took 3 times as long because I had to look things up. We ended up staying past the kids' bedtime, so I decided to make dinner, but my husband intervened and ordered takeout. Apparently, he's cooked our entire relationship because I'm a terrible cook, and he didn't want me to know. I felt defeated, but he hugged me and said he loved me. I decided to help in other ways. I made sure to know everything about my kids and help or entertain them. After work, I took my daughter on walks while my son rode his bike. I learned she wants to be a scientist like her dad, loves an ice cream shop nearby, wants to learn Korean, and loves K-pop, particularly Mamamoo. I've been talking to her in Korean during our walks and helping with the workbooks my husband got. She's picking it up fast and has inspired my son to learn too. Every night I tuck both kids in, and when I get to bed, my husband waits to learn about my day. We've been getting intimate again, and it's amazing. Weekend pretend games with their father still happen, but he asks me to sub in sometimes so he can work. My kids are incredible at making up scenarios and improvising, clearly learned from my husband. Despite all his good qualities, he's an incredible liar when he wants to be, but he's been honest with me our entire relationship. During these games, I still feel the odd one out, but my kids don't notice. I'm not as great as their father, but I think I can hold my own. I've tried improvising or coming up with scenarios, and although they love it, I can say some of the most cringy, cheesy lines and ideas. I can hear my husband holding back his laughter. Update 2: yesterday was the most heartwarming yet somewhat confusing day of my life. The day went by as usual, with me involved in my kids' lives, playing games, helping with homework, and showing affection to my husband. After we put the kids to sleep, my husband confessed something. He found my Reddit post and has been testing to see if I'd follow through with my epiphanies or revert back or quit halfway. He never had additional work. He's been playing games on his laptop while monitoring my actions. He said he loves me and wants to work towards fixing things, but he doesn't completely trust me. He felt alone in the relationship for a while and found having an active partner liberating. He wants counseling because if things go back to how they were, he'll leave. I'm delighted, although it hurt to hear. I understand they're true, and I don't need him to sugarcoat his feelings. I'm working on being a better partner and ready to do everything I can. Update 3: it's been a year, and our marriage has never been stronger. We are equal caretakers of the kids, playing games with them and having family days out. Last week we went to a huge waterfall and camped, something my son always wanted. My husband and I have regular intimacy, and it's passionate. We go on date nights every 2 weeks, exploring cool places and restaurants in the city. I've become proficient at playing games with my kids, reaching my husband's level with his guidance. Couples counseling helped tremendously, and life is amazing now. I found a way to stay active and consistent in the gym and running while being involved with the kids. My husband and I sometimes go to the gym together when the kids are at extracurricular activities or on a weekday off. Life is great.